Jen Rosati and Don Staley and all those folks that Cheryl Reeve, who had a hand in Caitlin Clark not making Team USA last year in the Olympics. It looks like they may be now. Cheryl Reeve's still there, but the actual committee.
The fear is genuine. The WNBA media elite who previously shunned Caitlin Clark are now witnessing their influence fade away more quickly than a Taurasi layup in 2024, and she may actually make Team USA sweat. Subbird just changed the course of events, and I promise that this will cause some damage. Let's examine the meltdown in detail. Let's do this correctly. The best WNBA players who previously excluded Caitlin Clark from the Olympic squad are now witnessing the destruction of their power circle and are not taking it well.
I'll tell you what we're not going to do. We're not going to allow that.
Can we just like call a spade? Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. This is not a new thing. Sure. This is, and in that way, I do think Caitlin's being used as a pawn. Mm-hmm. Caitlin didn't bring racism to the WNBA. This has been happening. And that, I think, is what's been such a shock for all of us, that other people are surprised by this. Mm-hmm. We've been trying to tell you. And once again, for so long, as a player, I would almost joke. I'd be like, I would have loved to have shut up and dribble. Mm-hmm. In so many ways, I would have loved to have been valued as a basketball player. I would have been loved to have been spoken about just for my play. Mm-hmm. I think
Clark was completely left off of the Olympic roster for Team USA the last time. Not to mention that it has to do with experience. Politics was involved. Favoritism was involved. They were attempting to gatekeep their way through another Olympic cycle with the same sour inner group. Sue Bird has the keys, though, and the gate is open this time. The new organization of Team USA is similar to that of the men's team. Sue Bird is the only person in control and responsible for assembling the team.
Caitlin Clark, WNBA Rookie of the Month, packing arenas while averaging 17 and 6 assists. That's not enough to make the Olympic roster.
And when the other old heads were too preoccupied with holding on to the past, who did Sue Bird openly support? Caitlin is so annoying, Clark. Let's avoid confusion. Sue might have some political connections that raise eyebrows. Yes, we do see you, Megan Rapinoe, but she's always been honest about ball. She has spoken up. She has been straightforward. Wearing red, white, and blue is something Caitlin Clark deserves. Fans weren't the only ones who were upset when Clark was benched for Paris 2024. The actual NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, stated in public that it was a grave error to omit her. This isn't just a Twitter fanboy. This is the leading voice in the basketball community criticizing the Olympic Committee.
It's also totally legitimate to say, we roll in the Olympics every year. We can afford having, someone who's the 20th best or 24th best instead of the 12th best because of what it would potentially do to grow the game. That's legitimate. And I also think that door somewhat got open brew by Diana Taurasi's inclusion. So Diana, and we can show you their numbers. They're having a shockingly similar season. So points and rebounds basically identical. Field goal percentage is identical. Caitlin has way more assists and way more turnovers to go along with it. Diana has very few assists, very few turnovers. So Caitlin's not yet in her prime. Diana's past her prime.
He wasn't by himself. The same was stated by marketing teams, basketball executives, and even casual sports analysts. You missed out on momentum, revenue, and audience. Women's basketball had the opportunity to become a global phenomenon, but instead they played the role of Diana. Taurasi was running about as if she was trying to find her car keys. By the way, Taurasi made almost no contribution to the previous Olympics. 1 game with 2 points, 1 DNP. She also reported 0 influence in another. And here's the person they'd choose rather than Clark, who is already creating more buzz than all of Team USA put together.
Why?
Because the top players weren't being chosen by the committee, Don Staley, Jennifer Rosati, Cheryl Reeve, and others. They were guarding medals, preserving legacies, and ensuring that no rookies entered and disturbed their small, welcoming group. And they received harsh criticism for it. However, with Sue Bird taking the place of the entire decision-making group, Caitlin Clark's name has abruptly returned to the Olympic discourse, and you can hear the worry spreading from ESPN to WNBA Twitter.
Sue Bird won 4 WNBA championships. She was an All-Star 13 times, one of the more decorated basketball players in history, and also a 5-time Olympic gold medalist, just named USA Basketball Women's National Team Managing Director. That's a hell of a title there. Is that on your business card? And what exactly does that mean, Sue?
Need like a business index card at this point or whatever. Managing director. It's basically what Grant Hill did for the men's team. So like a GM, pick the coach.
Because the thing is this. Politics isn't Sue Bird's thing. Her focus is on performance. Sue was witnessing Clark transform the sport while the critics were too preoccupied with analyzing her lack of participation in Olympic camp.
I'm going to guess she'll probably be on the next Olympic team. Just guessing.
I mean, TBD. Yeah. We got 3 years.
Yes, exactly. No secret handshake was necessary for Clark. She introduced the league to millions of fans during Team USA camp. She didn't have to make out with the originals. On her own terms, she restored women's basketball to the mainstream. Taurasi was in charge of the shuffle squad while the committee was busy trying out for AP ads. Now, let's look at the figures. The highest ever ratings for the WNBA. Clark's first Indiana Fever Games game is now a must-watch on television. Her jersey is the best-selling item. And let's not even talk about ticket sales. When a player forces entire rival teams to update their arenas, you know they're unique. That's Clark. She wasn't prepared for the Olympics, though. Please. They didn't want her on that team, to be honest. They were aware of its meaning. She would surpass the veterans in brilliance. She would be the center of attention. Some of their revered cows would appear bathed by her. They also couldn't take the chance. They buried her as a result. Made justifications. While hauling a hardly productive Taurasi to gather dust and money, they claimed it was all about experience. Let's take a moment to highlight something really important. In addition to costing Clark a medal, such action probably cost her her reputation. Clark will now have to wait 4 more years to begin her Olympic trip if Paris 2024 is not held. That means it's almost impossible for Taurasi to break any of her Olympic records unless she continues to play until she's 44, which, if we're being completely honest, was probably the original point. The best gatekeeping. Karma, however, works quickly. That's not Subbird's game. As managing director, she eliminated the previous committee as her first action. Her second change was to reorganize the team selection procedure to resemble that of the NBA. You can be sure that Caitlin Clark is at the forefront of her decision-making and vision. You can smell the fear even though they said that the WNBA media is trying to appear calm. Everything is altered by this. The comfortable echo chamber they constructed exploded. There is nothing they can do about Clark's current situation. The same people who were making fun of her last summer are now going back in time. Well, perhaps Clark wasn't prepared at the time, but she is now. No, she was prepared at that time. You simply weren't prepared for her to take center stage. Furthermore, let's not act as though Clark Page Boers is the only topic at hand. The new wave is coming, Angel Reese, and they have no intention of playing politics. Their goal is to triumph. And it's okay if that means putting legends on the bench.
Sue Bird notices.
Adam's silver notices. It is seen by all big sponsors. Those who blocked her in the past now do the same. Let's clarify one issue. This isn't your typical Caitlin Clark redemption story. The WNBA media machine, which has been acting as though she isn't the biggest star in the sport for the past year, is facing serious consequences. They are now compelled to witness the golden goose they attempted to imprison finally take off. Additionally, the timing was terrible because their attempts to downplay her influence all backfired. Do you recall last summer? Coded gibberish filled the headlines. She must establish herself. Our system hasn't seen her play. She still hasn't earned it.
Get it?
As the executives guzzle shrimp cocktails and make poor choices, Clark is essentially carrying the league on her back, resembling a glorified first-year intern running a Fortune 500 corporation. When she filled more seats than the league as a whole combined, she earned it. She deserved it when Adam Silver, Yes, the Adam Silver stated in public, "Y'all really fumbled this." When the numbers came in and confirmed what the fans already knew, she deserved it. Caitlin Clark is prepared for more than just the USA squad. The USA is her team. Additionally, Sue Bird now controls the power and the clipboard. The game is over. No more phony political gamesmanship. No more devoted veterans at the expense of common sense. Players who have one foot in the retirement home should no longer have their Olympic selections turned into farewell tours. It's all about winning now. For a period. Let's discuss how absurd it is that Clark was not even included in the most recent roster. In order to ensure Diana Taurasi received one more medal, the selection committee essentially went above and above. You know, hauling a 42-year-old veteran onto a court full of 20-somethings and calling it strategy is the epitome of competitive honesty. Treatment took up more of Taurasi's time than playing. DNPs in the literal sense. And there wasn't much productivity in the game she did play. Here are 2 points. No effect there. She didn't even record an assist in one game. Clark, meanwhile, was out here selling out every arena, launching logo threes, and increasing the league's social media engagement with each post. She wasn't prepared for the Olympics, though. Leave this place immediately. She posed a threat to the system, which is why the committee did not want her. One of them was not her. The rings had not been kissed by her. Yukon was not her destination. At Team USA camps, she avoided making friends. She was too well-liked and too noisy. Too fresh and worse, too damned good. They were aware that Clark would dominate if given the chance. Taurasi would be pushed into a corner by her. She would make the old guard appear outdated. The WNBA would then formally become a part of the new generation. Thus, they closed the door. But you know what? It was just kicked open by Sue Bird. And the celebration isn't limited to Clark fans. Everyone was fed up with seeing the league stifled by legacy favoritism, biased media, and gatekeeping. With our current system, the top player has a genuine chance. It's a basketball shot, not a narrative or political one. Let's dissect it some more for those who continue to believe that this is an early coronation. Caitlin Clark's resume prior to the conclusion of her first season in North Carolina men's or women's consensus National Player of the Year, DROA's all-time top scorer, elevated women's college basketball to Super Bowl proportions. The sole explanation for why half of America is aware of Iowa's location. The face of TV ratings, ticket surges, jersey sales, and nil deals. She is currently performing the same action in the WNBA. Instead of creating a legacy, she's printing it in less than a year. Nevertheless, Diana Taurasi was deemed the superior choice by Cheryl Reeve and her team. It's almost humorous, but this is what occurs when those in authority prioritize influence over rivalry. The best young star in decades sits on her couch and watches a 40-something play tourist at the Olympics. No more. The writing on the wall was visible to Sue Bird. She noticed the criticism. She looked at the metrics. More significantly, she recognized the chance. The WNBA shouldn't focus on nostalgia if it hopes to expand. You center it on the future, on players that excite people, on names like Angel Reese, Paige Bueckers, and Caitlin Clark. You need Clark if you want Team USA to dominate and be a spectacle, even if that last one hasn't figured out how to pack an arena. Let's also discuss the business aspect. USA Basketball is an Olympic product and a brand. They not only want gold, they desire cultural importance, ratings, and attention. All of that is guaranteed by Clark. People pay attention to her. To see her, they take a plane across the nation. She is an advertisement campaign and a walking headline. Hold on. The supporters were aware. They were constantly aware. Finally, Team USA does as well. The rest of the basketball community is watching a superstar receive the acclaim she has long deserved, while the naysayers congregate on Twitter to write opinion pieces about merit and honoring veterans. I want to be really clear. It's not charity that Clark is included. It's only common sense. It's past due. It's the first wise decision the national team has made in a long time. Additionally, remember this. Not only does Clark's profile increase when she joins the team, the WNBA as a whole. Increased visibility, media coverage, and league attention. Her spotlight benefits all of her teammates. True stars operate in this manner. They make everyone feel better. The panic button is being smashed behind the scenes for a reason, so yes, the control of the inner circle is diminishing. The hold is slipping. Clark is chosen by the fans. And the system is now, for once. It's more than just a shift. A revolution, that is. Greetings from the Clark period. The old guard is powerless to stop Caitlin Clark from joining Team USA. The justifications are no longer valid. The toast of the committee. Additionally, Sue Bird is ushering in a new era for this. They can't close the door this time, so if you agree, hit like, slap subscribe, and leave a comment for Team Clark 2028. She's in already.